Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So hello dear friends, welcome back to NPTEL online course on logistics and supply chain management. So in the last session we discussed about balance scorecard, and in this session we will continue the discussion how we can implement the balance scorecard approach in supply chain, measuring the performance and how we can improve the performance in different all those four perspectives, right. So already we discussed about the basics of the balance scorecard. What are those different four perspectives related to customer, related to stakeholder, related to how we are learning, how we are growing, our internal processes, how we can implement, how we can improve those processes so that we can tap all those performance indicators and we can improve that. So we'll continue this discussion, and we'll find out the balanced scorecard for supply chain. We'll discuss about the quality, delivery, cost performance indices, and then we'll see how we can measure the supply chain performance, right, different techniques, and we'll end this discussion with one case study, right. So already now we know four perspective. So what are our financial results? Financial result in terms of profit, in terms of market share, in terms of return on investment, how much we are investing in all the areas in your warehousing, keeping extra inventory, whether we are getting those returns, we are renovating, innovating the products with our R&D team, whether that investment is getting, we are getting the fruitful results or not. So we'll measure in terms of financial performance, right, and internal business processes. So machine productivity, customer responses time. Machine productivity means how we can improve that. Maybe we'll come with the new technology or not. If new technology, how efficiently we can use the old technology and we can improve the overall performance. Improve and innovate, how we can internally we can improve, right, our resources. We can in that way we can empower our resources in that way, so that we can utilize those skills to satisfy our customer with the quality, with the delivery parameters, and also we are cost efficient. So client satisfaction, all the client stakeholders involved in that value chain, how we can make them satisfied. So we'll quickly go for this balanced scorecard approach, and we'll see what can be the financial measures when we are talking about supply chain specifically. So first is how we can decrease the cost, right. So there are so many different ways. If you are negotiating on quantity with the supplier, then also you can decrease the cost. If you are automating your warehouse, you can decrease the handling and storage cost. If you can implement a point of sale system where you are directly linked with the sales team, you can minimize the inventory, right. So spending and cost of goods sold, how you can analyze your spending. You can do the spending analysis. So how much your transportation is contributing in that, how much your logistics is contributing in that, how much your manufacturing is contributing, your raw material suppliers contributing. So that you can find out, and then you can compare that. Okay, your logistics is contributing 14%, but the industry average is 10%. How we can improve by this 4% gap, right. Resource optimization, again routing, vehicle routing, or warehouse optimization, manufacturing facility optimization. Payment terms, financially, how we can negotiate with our vendors that will make payment in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. Longer period you will get, that means your negotiation power is high. Leveraged agreements, if you have said that 90 days payment, you can leverage on that period, right, you can extend the payment. So for that period, maybe that cost, that financial cash you can use somewhere else. Supplier consolidation, this also when you are maybe for one supplier you are ordering different components, dealing with the same kind of metal. If you are dealing with same supplier can supply the multiple products also, and not so if only one component, so then you can consolidate the order in large quantities, so that on quantity you can negotiate. You can find out the cheaper location, and then competitive bidding, then open competitive bidding can be done. So whosoever is cost efficient, quality efficient, you can use that. So this is financially how you can improve. Business processes, sourcing methodology, already we discussed about that. Vendor rating will help you to pick the best supply chain, your stakeholder, and then sourcing, how much purchasing, if you are talking about strategic sourcing, long term vendors you have developed. So how you will do the purchasing decision, how frequently you will buy, what will be the lot size, right? What is the lead time, whether you are implementing just in time to cut down the inventory cost, so then your strategic sourcing is required. Risk protection, what if you are dealing with some kind of uncertain market, and then suddenly you need to phase out your product, so what you will do with the inventory, raw material inventory. Supplier alliances, contract management, performance management, these are some of the internal business processes how you can handle with your stakeholder. Means all the processes you are doing or dealing with your stakeholders, you need to improve that, right? Decision making skills, how predictive analytics, big data analytics, and those tools, software you can use to predict your demand, to predict supply, to predict the fluctuation, not only in the internal environment, in the external environment. In the internal environment also you can use this, like total predictive maintenance. When a particular machine requires the maintenance, before breakdown happens, how we can maintain that, so that there should not be any breakdown, no rejection should be produced, right? Learning and growth, team building we can do. Learning and growth means within all the resources, how we can develop those resources, develop the skills, so that maybe sometime it happens during recession. One of very beautiful example what Infosys did, like when all the industry during that 2008 recession, when major IT stakeholders, they started firing their employees. But what Infosys did, they retained all the employees and developed their capabilities. They took it as the time for pulling up your success, and whenever you again there will be market demand, you can run in the more faster way, right? So that will will help you to satisfy your employees. Your turnover rate you can manage, attrition rate you can manage, right? So the example I quoted, that you need to maintain, if you need to maintain your employees for longer time, you need to show them the proper career path, development path. Their development should not saturate, right? Then customers, how we can satisfy customer with different features, variety, customer services, how we can improve the quality, prices, whatever price they are asking, in that price range, whatever quality you can offer, right? So, and after sale services, your branding, whether your customer is feeling comfortable, when your customer is bearing that brand, using that brand. Sometimes you are wearing very expensive watch, then always you are showing that, or you are carrying that that image that you are wearing Rolex, or you are using that kind of stuff, right? High status product. So that is attached with the customer performance. So we'll go through financial perspective. In supply chain, all the KPIs which will help us to configure your financial function. So cost reduction, talking about, I have already discussed in the previous session, where we are involved with the cost function. Your material acquisition, handling, storage, transportation, manufacturing, distribution, all these functions are adding cost. So how we can reduce the cost? Return on investment, like if we are investing on something, let's say we are investing on developing technological infrastructure, right? So that technological infrastructure is helping you to fetch more customers, right? If you are saying that Amazon today will announce that all the deliveries will be done in the same day, that means technological implementation will be there, and you need to fasten up your distribution network. If you are doing that, huge investment will be there. Even for sometimes if one person is carrying maybe more than 200 orders, even sometimes 100 orders also they need to deliver, right? So that investment if you are doing, whether you are fetching more customer, more traffic is coming to your website, then revenue growth is happening. If sales are increasing, then it is fair enough, you can go for the improvement, right? Second is client or customer perspective, order fulfillment rate, how quickly you are fulfilling the order, customer satisfaction score, feedback, whether customers are giving you the high feedback or not, or if you are getting lower feedback, you need to prioritize those areas where you are getting lower feedback. Very small example, let's imagine you ordered AC through Flipkart. Now Flipkart gave you the best pricing option, you are very happy, you are getting the cash back also, then they are giving you free installation services, right? This is what Flipkart could do maximum, they did this. Now they have to deliver this product within that time using the local retail partner. That is also maybe they can ensure that within that delivery is done, but who will do the installation? The local technician who is coming from that. If you are buying from Hitachi, that technician will come. If you are buying from Whirlpool technician will come. So then your feedback is not only your feedback, it is associated if delivery person or that installation technician is coming late, not behaving properly with the customer, you as the service provider will be rated. Maybe you did everything right, but there you lagged and then you got lower feedback. So then you need to, it's not that you will just say that that is not my area or jurisdiction area where I can control those things, but then I will think about that player who can control the installation services also, right? So lead time, how much time you are taking to fulfill the order. Internal business process perspective, talking about the improvement of supply chain, you can include KPIs like cycle time, how quickly you are completing the order, how quickly if you are manufacturing, how quickly you are changing over from one model to other model, inventory turnover, how much inventory you are keeping and how quickly you are selling that inventory in the market, right? Supply chain flexibility, how quickly your supply chain can adapt to the changes if any demand for new product, variety or any supply disruption is there, any disaster happens, any strike is there, still your supply chain is resilient enough to absorb all those disruptions within the supply chain, and then you can still maintain the smooth supply. Innovation and improvement, so how you can ensure your KPIs targeting continuous innovation. Philips and you, continuous innovation, right? Innovation and you, that is the tagline for Philips, right? So employee training and development, technology utilization, innovation rate, how quickly you are innovating new products, coming up with new products, how quickly or what is the technology penetration rate, how quickly you are implementing new technology. If there is a WMS, warehouse management system, whether you have implemented or not. If we are talking about industry 4.0 supported system, whether you are doing that or not, right? So how quickly you can improve and innovate. So let's talk about this supply chain perspective, this balance scorecard framework, specifically with the procurement. Talking about procurement, financial measures will be how we can save cost. That means we need to negotiate with the vendors. How you can negotiate with the vendors? When you are having more purchasing power, when you are buying in bulk, right? So that means that purchasing power you can use to negotiate with the vendors. Total cost of ownership you are calculating, it's not only the raw material cost. So how he is delivering, storing in between, that cost is also there. What is the cost per unit or per transaction you can calculate, and what was the procurement budget, and whether you are hitting that budget as per the planned budget, or you exceeded, or you managed within under that budget, right? So that means you are performing better. Depending upon customer, how many complaints are coming, right? Customer which are directly related to your vendors, right? So let's say one component is not working properly, so that means you bought TV, or then you suddenly realize that your sound system is not working properly, right? So that means from where you are ensuring that system. So that is the responsibility. You need to do the by analysis why that happened. So then you will find out quickly that this is happening because of the problem in the component of sound system, right? Internal customer satisfaction, we can use cross functional teams for selecting and evaluating suppliers. We have already discussed in detail how we can select the vendors based on that. Any customer complaint is coming directly related to the vendor of that particular component, so that is the responsibility of that vendor, and we need to improve that with collaboration with the vendor. Internal business processes like procurement is how you are raising the purchase orders. When you are sensing that there is, the inventory has depleted up to that level, you need to again replenish the inventory. How quickly you can do that? Kanban production system you can implement, right? So when you are raising the purchase order, you need to keep in mind the quantity you are purchasing so that you can negotiate the price. Then you need to keep in mind the inventory also. So you are, one way you are negotiating the price of acquiring that material, other way you are increasing the inventory cost, right? So average value of purchase order you can calculate. Learning and growth, so how your stakeholders are learning and implementing certifications. If you are talking about ISO certification, quality certification, whether they are ISO certified or not. So it is important, if you are claiming ISO certified, your vendor should be first ISO certified, because you are getting raw material from them, right? So then employee satisfaction and turnover, these are the points we discussed in the balance scorecard. How we can implement balance scorecard in supply chain? These are some of the steps. Define your strategic objective. First is you need to define the supply chain vision and your objective, right? If you are saying you are cost efficient, then you need to stick to that. If you are saying you are responsive, you need to stick to that. If you are saying that you are providing a variety of the products, you need to stick that. So if you are saying that we are covering the maximum pin locations, you need to stick with the distribution strategies, right? Develop specific metrics. Once you have defined the strategy, you need to develop the specific metrics. If I am saying I am serving to all the pin codes in India, that means I need to develop some specific metrics related to distribution network. How much lead time for particular pin code in rural area, in urban area, in semi-urban area, in metro city, right? So whenever you will say one day delivery, you will keep in mind what are those locations where I can ensure one day delivery. That is one metric, right? So that means when you are coming up with new strategies, so you need to figure out whether that same strategy one day you can implement in the rural area. No, because the demand you cannot consolidate in that way. Very fragmented demand is coming, right? So that you cannot ensure. Once you have developed the matrix, you need to collect the data. So now you know lead time you are recording, inventory cost you are recording, transportation cost per unit per kilometer you are recording, or manufacturing cost per unit you are recording. You need to record data. Today whatever you have produced, you need to record what is the cost, total cost. Review and adjust, then you need to make the informed decisions that these are some of the area where you need to target. So those areas which are contributing maximum to the cost, you need to, maybe these are some of the area which are contributing to the cost. So leave those area first. We need to tap these two areas maybe which are contributing around 60 to 70%. Again 80-20 rule you can implement, Pareto analysis you can do, and then foster collaboration. Anything you are implementing, that will be implemented through your stakeholders, so collaboration need to be ensured. So quickly, benefits of using balanced scorecard. Holistic approach, we are including all the functional units, all the stakeholders. Strategic alignment, whatever your strategy is, you are aligning all functional units with your strategy. Embedded enhanced decision making, because more informed decisions based on facts and figures, and continuous improvement, because internal growing and learning and sustainability, that parameters we are tapping here. So under supply chain, we'll discuss about the quality, delivery and cost. These are the main performance index, right, which you need to tap. So always we need to make the trade off, what are the constraints, right, and what are the variables, how we can deal with those. It's not that any day you can make any promise. Every industry, every player is working on some limitation, some constraint. Some are limited by quality, some are limited by capacity, some are limited by variety, some are limited by their R&D skills, some are, and they have their own USPs as well, their strength area as well, right. So you need to define where you are standing. So quality performance indices we will see, and delivery and cost performance. So quality performance, percentage of rejection, that means number of defects received and total number of items received. So how much percentage, 10% rejection, that means this much rejection daily you are dealing with. Either you are talking about, let's talk about the raw material you are getting. So whatever you are using, 10% is rejected without using. That means those many defects are coming. Once you have produced that, you shipped that in the market, from market 5% products are coming back because during shipment damaged, right. Defects per million opportunities, usually we are using this measure to implement 6 sigma, where we are saying 3.4 defects are allowed per million opportunity, right. So how we are calculating that? Number of defects found, total number of items tested, right. So that is defects per million opportunity. Supplier rejection percentage, number of rejection, total number of suppliers, that you need to find out. What is the supplier rejection rate? If your supplier rejection rate is 3%, that means 3% of your suppliers, whatever they are supplying, usually you are rejecting those items not up to the mark as per quality. But this is, you need, again you can compare with the best performance in industry. Percentage non-compliance, number of non-compliance, total number of observation, right. So if you say, let's say you are dealing with the raw material quality, so many 0 hour rejection is coming. That means whenever you start using the product, you just inspected that and you just observe that there is something wrong with the product. That means then you, how you can improve that? You started some compliance measure that they need, your vendors need to send the QC reports whenever they are sending the lot. That means they need to inspect the quality, only then they can ship the lot. Now this is one measure you have picked, but how many vendors are complying to this QC report? Maybe all the vendors they started implementing, but you received 10 lots, out of that only 8 lots you are getting the reports, rest 2 lots you did not receive the QC report of their outgoing quality control. So that means that non-compliance, percentage non-compliance rectified. So how many you are rectifying, means you raise this complaint that this times out of 10 2 lots we did not receive your outgoing quality report, right. So how quickly they are rectifying that, that also you can measure. Next is delivery performance index, supplier on time delivery and in full delivery. If I am placing grocery items order, I placed order for 50 items, so 40 items you delivered in time, and then rest of the 10 items were not available. That means that are not in full. So this is, you can calculate how many items are in full, how many are placed, you can find out the percentage. Delivery in full on time, percentage delivery in full, percentage delivery in time minus percentage rejected. So you delivered on time full quantity, but then because of some defects, out of 50 items 5 were returned back. Supplier lead time variability, whatever you are saying 3 times is the delivery time plus minus 1 day, that means that is lead time you are looking for. Overall lead time, actual delivery time, required lead time, this is overall lead time, right. Percentage of shipment arriving in good condition, how many shipments are arriving in good condition, how many defective shipments are there, that you can find out the average. Average delivery time, so sum of total number of period from dispatch to receive, total number of shipment. So these are the delivery related performance index you can calculate for the individual whatever you are recording. Cost performance index. Now you can record the cost performance also. Cost performance index, whatever earned value, whatever actual value. Actual value you said maybe 100, and then the earned value is 100, that means 1. Perfectly whatever your budget was, exactly your project is going as per that, right? If it is greater than 1, your project is under budget, that means cost efficiency is there. 100 you can spend, but you completed within 90 bucks only, that means you are efficient. But if you are spending extra, this factor will be more than 1, right? So you can just quickly go through. Earned value is planned value into percentage complete, and planned value is the authorized budget assigned, right? That is planned value. And percentage complete, what percentage you have completed, right? And the actual cost is the total cost incurred for the actual work performed, right? So this is how you can find out the earned value divided by the actual value. Cost performance index. So cost avoidance, actual purchase price, what was the actual purchase price, and lowest quoted purchase price. So you invited the tenders, what was the lowest price, and then maybe you did not finalize the lowest one. Depending upon the quality, delivery schedules, you may pick the next lowest. So then that will be the cost reduction. What was the actual price? You did not, maybe the actual pricing may be 100 rupees, this lowest quoted price was 80, but you picked the vendor with 90. So this will be 100 minus 90, because 80 if you will pick, maybe he was delivering little late, so then you picked the other person, right? Procurement ROI, cost reduction plus cost avoidance divided by cost of procurement operations, right? Procurement cost as per percentage of sale. So how much you are total selling, what is your procurement department is adding into that. So if your procurement is adding maybe 30% cost, so then you can see your procurement, if you are including procurement of your raw material suppliers, so right, acquisition cost, total cost of ownership, so you can compare the other industries somewhere maintaining 28%, so you are 2%, not cost efficient, your competitors are 2% cost efficient than you. So you need to negotiate better than with your players, your partners. How we can measure the supply chain performance? Some techniques quickly will go for. Inventory investment, already we discussed about what are the different inventory we are maintaining. Calculation, how we can manage. The percentage of gross or net revenue, right? This can be measured as the percentage of gross or net revenue, means what is the gross and how much inventory is adding into that. Always 10% inventory is adding into your gross, right? So that we can calculate. How we can optimize it? By aligning our operation planning with the sales department, sales and operation planning. And then we have some methods, value stream mapping, where we can delete all the non value adding activities and we can do the value stream mapping. Quick changeover, single minute exchange of die, right? How quickly we can change over from one model to other model. Kanban system, where we can use red, green, yellow Kanban production system, where we are using those bins. How quickly, as we are depleting the inventory, how quickly we are replenishing the inventory in the bins. That visual representation can be done. Inventory efficiency, inventory turnover we are usually calculating. What is the cost? How quickly we are moving that inventory in the market, right? So you can calculate annualized cost of goods sold and average inventory investment divided by measures how often inventory is replaced over the year, right? Already we discussed about inventory turn. Days of supply, inventory investment into daily cost of goods sold divided by number of days needed to sell current inventory based on forecasted cost of goods sold, right? How you can optimize? Exclude all those excessive and obsolete inventory. If today it is not required, maybe required for after 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, then don't maintain inventory for that. Again, these are some of the tools. Value stream mapping, 7 waste, already we defined. Time, Tim Wood, we defined these 7 waste, where extra transportation is waste, extra inventory is waste, extra motion, movement, handling of product from here to there is waste. then your waiting time is waste, overproduction of something is waste, over processing is waste, and defects you are producing is waste obviously. So Kanban system can be implemented to enhance the just in time, on time delivery performance. How we can measure how many times your orders are on time, and maybe you can measure how many times your orders are late. So you can implement that Lean Six Sigma, right? So value stream mapping is another point where you can find out where your deliveries are delayed, or Kanban system where you can implement just in time. Whenever the demand is coming from the customer, you can quickly replenish the inventories and start the manufacturing process, right? Forecasting accuracy, usually we are calculating, let's say this is the actual demand, this is the forecasted demand. So if you are measuring, the average deviation will be, if you are measuring this, whatever is the deviation is the error in the forecasting, right? So let's say if this is the demand, one time you predicted 5 extra, other time you predicted 5 less. If I'll add this, this will be 0. So your deviation will show 0. That's why we are calculating average absolute deviation, where we are considering the magnitude only. One time 5 extra, one time 5 less, this will be, we will take only the magnitude. That means total 10 is the deviation. Root means square error, actual demand, forecasted demand, you will square, right? And maybe you will sum up all the items divided by n, and that root means square error. This is how you can find this in forecasting. We will discuss in detail. So whatever actual demand is there, whatever forecasted demand, any difference in that is the deviation. Simple concept. How we can improve that? If we are having sales and operation planning, whatever you are selling, sales department is directly linked with the manufacturing department, right? So we can do time series analysis, we can go for regression analysis, where we can predict our demand in better way, right? Lead time. How we can calculate the lead time? Lead time is whatever activity you are doing, when you are starting, when you are ending. So if you are doing any non-value adding activity in that, you need to remove that, which is not required and still you are doing, so that you can do that. Quick changeover, how quickly you can change over from one model to other model on the same production line, or maybe in molding machine you are putting one mold, or how quickly you are changing the other mold, right? 5S approach will help you to implement this. We talked about Siri, Siso, Sitan, Sike, Sushisuke, Japanese term, where we talked about we need to sort the things, we need to set in order, we need to shine the workplace, we need to standardize the process so that the efficiency can be managed, and we need to sustain whatever we are implementing, right? Unplanned orders. So unplanned order, usually that you did not forecasted and that are coming, you need to handle those orders. But these orders are actually, carrying more cost because you did not plan for that. So if that, how you can improve those? If you can minimize the unplanned orders. How you can minimize? If you are having accurate demand prediction, right? So that standard operating procedure you can implement, you can effectively implement this sales and operation planning and customer collaboration, where you can record what is going to be the demand from the customer end. Schedule change, again, if there is any change, that change can be because of shortage in raw material, equipment is not working, let us produce something else. Manpower is not there, let us use manpower and use that facility and produce something else, right? Impacting efficiency, this because when we are changing, obviously the efficiency will be lesser in that way. So how we can ensure less schedule change should be there? We should ensure total productive maintenance, where the equipment should not be down, right? And then we can implement 5S housekeeping approach, we can use mistake proofing, Poka-yoke system, or we can use Jidoka system. Already we discussed when we discussed about the quality tools, how we can implement these kind of lean tools when those will be error free. Overdue backlog. So when your backlog is there, why backlog will be there? Because these are down, your manpower is not there, your raw material supply is not there, your equipments are not working properly, so then your back order will be there. So that you need to maintain using these technologies. Again, same you can implement. Material availability, how many time material is available. In your storage room, you are producing something, and then suddenly you are out of stock. You are not having raw material supply because the person who supplied the raw vendor who supplied the raw material is rejected by your IQC team. Now what you will do with that manpower, with the equipment, with the facility, because that will be sitting idle, right? So how you can ensure that? Again, same tools you can implement at the vendor location as well, so that they should have planned maintenance, they should ensure the minimum breakdown of the their machinery, and error should be avoided. Excess and obsolete inventory should not be there. That will only happen when you are keeping excess inventory, when you are away from the customer, you are not able to predict your demand accurately. And usually this happens, this here we cannot control, because new product you are offering, you are never sure about the supply, you are never sure about the demand. Sometime maybe it will be taken positively, sometime negatively. So then how you need to ensure the availability also, so that you will maintain the inventory. Customer service target. What is your customer service? If you are saying that your delivery is delayed, that is one performance measure. You need to do the root cause. It's not that your delivery partner did the mistake. Delivery partner, you gave him 4 hours to deliver that, he did within 4 hours. Maybe the delivery courier partner who is supposed to pick the order from the seller within 4 hours, he did not do that in 4 hours. That's why the overall that ripple effect was there and the delivery was delayed. So you need to do the root cause analysis why that happened. Perfect order, when you are filling all the demand on time, all are whatever you are delivering are accurate, your order is recorded accurately, so then it is perfect order, called perfect order. So that mistake proofing should be there, and standardize the work so that efficiency can be maintained. What is the gross profit margin? Revenue minus cost of goods sold, right? So you can implement a Lean Six Sigma project, balanced scorecard to improve the overall the efficiency as well as the your productivity also. Productivity will be improved, your cost will be reduced, your total profit will increase. Return on asset, if all the assets, how much return is there, how efficiently you are using. If one production line you are not using 24 hours and it is made to to use 24 hours, so then somewhere your assets are underutilized, right? Gross margin, return on investment, already we discussed about. If you are implementing some technology for the betterment, then what is the return on that technology, that also you need to record. This is one quick case we will go through. So Shipbob is a leading technology enabled third party logistics provider, and they are optimizing their supply chain operations, and they have implemented the balanced scorecard approach, right? And we will see how they have picked different KPIs. Perfect order rate, whatever we are delivering should be in complete quantity, quality, there should not be any return. High perfect order we need to maintain, this is one criteria they picked. Supply chain cost, what is the total cost, right? Supply chain cost, whether you are talking about the warehousing cost, transportation cost, last mile delivery cost, you need to reduce that, right? So they developed the matrix where you can improve. They went for updating their warehouses, where they implemented warehouse management system. They optimized labor and storage and transportation cost as well. Order fulfill rate, how we can maximize this, so that we should not say no to our customer. That will only happen when you are implementing predictive analytics, your software to address the demand accurately. You should not be stock out, you should not be maintaining excess inventory. What lead time, and then supplier relationship. So lead time only you can minimize when your supplier are sitting very next to you. So that means whenever it is required you can implement that. Cash to cash cycle, if lead time is minimized, let's say if you are taking 5 days to deliver the product, obviously you will get the payment after 5 days. If you are delivering the product within 1 day, you will generate cash in 1 day, right? So that means quickly you are generating the cash out of selling your stock. So this we can conclude that this your balance scorecard is a comprehensive framework where not only the financial measures you can track, but all the non-financial measures. But but not only with one department, you can include all the departments, whether your value adding activities or non value adding departments, but all are working towards one single strategy, right? And that strategy is hitting your vision. So you need to tap all those KPIs, develop those KPIs, measure those, put the right target, achievable target, and then you can take the initiatives, whatever initiatives are required. So these are the references you can go through. So that's it. Thank you very much.